why they get offended and move on. Yo, Fluffs, what's up? It's good to see you guys. Thank you all for coming. I'm glad you could make it. Vicky, good to see you. Do you have PJ Cruikshank?
Oh, good. That's still fine. Dude, still loves it.
Hey, man. Michael Corn, what's up, Peter Fabian? How you guys doing? And we are live, I think. Yo, Fluffs, what's up? It's good to see you all. Tonight's going to be a very triggersome stream for some people. We've already been having some triggered numpties like Sean Hawkins coming in.
You know, Flatzoid, both you and Dave are just...
Get out of my pocket!
You are too much of a coward.
And Craig, if you beat the fallacy king.
You stupid woman.
That's gonna be an interesting one tonight.
Yeah.
Yo, Fluffs, what's up? It's good to see you all. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you could make it. It's going to be an exciting one because tonight we're just gonna take a look at the globe as a joke, because it is a joke. Anyway, we got PJ Cruikshank in and Dave Sovereign-Soul. How you guys doing?
Oh, good. Oh, good. It's been a lovely day. The weather's been nice. It's only just started raining a little bit, but the whole day it's been lovely.
It's good to see you guys. Oh, and Vicky as well. Sorry, Vicky. I'm glad to have you all here. We've got 11 likes so far, so that's good. Please can the rest of you hit the likes. It's good to see you all. And I'm going to say hi to everybody in the YouTube lands. Roger Ledwell, thank you for coming. Miss Mod Queen Bee, good to see you too. Michael Korn, what's up, man? Lev Kung Fu, hey, glad to have you in. Roger Ledwell already put up some super chats. Maybe we should... I'll put them up now. Just saying hi to everybody quickly. Thank you for coming, by the way. Ryan S., what's up? Sandro, hello. Good to see you. INFE, glad to have you in. Norman Cross, hey, man. Glad to have you too. And, yeah, that's everybody there. Let's quickly look at the super chatties. I really do appreciate Norman, your super chats. There we go. The first one. Roger, the $2 says, Craig Mucho Rojo Encara. Thank you very much for the super chat, man. I really appreciate you. You rock. And then he sends another $2 super chat. I was trying to do Spanish and it sucked.
Sea Lightning says you missed Sea Lightning.
And Sea Lightning. Hey, good to see you, Sea Lightning. Sorry, man, I didn't see you, but I got a message for you, Roger.
You rock.
You don't say Roger doesn't rock, does he?
No.
Roger never rocks.
But thanks for the super chats. Really appreciate it, guys. Yeah. Please hit those likes, share the show, let everybody know we are live. Did you guys, well, obviously you two did you guys catch the video I brought out today?
Yes, I did.
I did.
Absolutely.
And are you guys getting a lot of butthurt globies? Because I certainly
God,
am.
yes. God, yes. I shared it out on Facebook, and a guy, he's been on my show before. He immediately, you think this disproves gravity? And I was like, yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Hey, Roger Ledwell. Also, Jeremy Bird just got in as well. Good to see you, man. So, how does it disprove gravity? Well, it's simple. You see, when that medium became critical and the styrofoam sunk, was that due to mass attracting mass, or was that due to the density change because of its phase?
Well, it was clearly mass attracting mass. I mean,
yeah. I was a bit hazy for a bit. I was kind of going with the density thing, but then of course, mass attracting mass just whooped right in there, straight in front, took over. There it is.
And then,
you know what I mean? Big stuff, attract all stuff, and little stuff.
But I'm definitely going to be doing more on this. I got a planned video to do more on that. And yeah, I get idiotic comments like Globomom. "Oh, you're leaving out the last part. That debunks your claim." No, actually, the last part that he said makes my claim. He said the density changed, and that's why it went down. I just left it for the next video.
I was going to say I don't know about butt hurt ballers, but in the live chat we had a butt hurt upward rising earther, which is pretty much a baller. Pretty much a baller, you know.
He is.
Kind of believe the same thing, and they call us.
Yeah.
They call us,
I mean, I caught Dell lying today on David Banner's stream. Shout out to Dave Banner, you rock, man.
Absolutely.
He was on there telling everybody, "Oh, the Flat Earth Society pushes a stationary Earth."
Man,
So
I can't read the chat. There's a refrigerator in the next room, and I keep being drawn to it. And I didn't realize it, but I was slowly being pulled away from my computer toward the refrigerator. Damn.
What you got to do, is you got to get rid of your wheels and get bolts and stick them into the floor. And baby, but you've got to be careful. You've got to make sure the floor is really, really a lot heavier than it's being attracted to, you know.
If I put some lead in the basement, I'll be all right, right?
You should be cool.
Roger Ladle sends another $2 super chat. He says, "I be working today. This one for all the Globies." Thank you very, very much, man. I appreciate all the support. Again, you rock. But yeah, I'm going to be doing another video on that. Definitely got a lot of butter. I've even got some very sick comments that I just had to delete before validation, like, you know, death threat kind of comments again, you know. You're like the worst of kind, and you're just a child abuser, and, you know, that nonsense.
Child abuser. Wow.
Yeah.
That's rich.
Because you got 3 happy kids.
I know. And that's rich coming from people that are letting the kids being lied to, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, just literally just showing that gravity's false makes me a child abuser, apparently. Okay.
Yeah, that isn't it?
Yeah. Thanks, Sleeping Warrior, man.
FTFE says that all the time. There's this little girl on Twitter. I seen a video of this little girl on Twitter, and she was explaining the flat Earth and how it all works. And he's all up in arms. That person should be charged with child abuse. That poor child being lied to, and this, that, and the other. I was like, oh.
But yeah, shout out to Sleeping Warrior.
Only you knew, you know.
And shout out to Sleeping Warrior as well. You can obviously read that. Smart Every Day, that's where we got Action Lab. It wasn't Smart, it's actually Action Lab, yeah. Didn't indeed get the conclusion right. He accidentally said it was the density of the medium changing that caused acceleration. Exactly, as I said, that's in my next video. So do stay tuned with that. Not a magic sticky forcing, non-forced RDD proven, exactly. Hey, Alan, good to see you, man. Yes, I saw that your Mopt made a video on me, and we're going to be going through that now. Jeff Gassett, good to see you too, man. Glad to make it. And Roger Ledwell, again, another $2. He says, "Bees be rocking. Have a good show, guys."
I mean, if you'll know by the end of the show if Sov is out his back door there, if he's out his door, you'll know what happened, you know. Gradually being drawn to whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's drawn to it extra because he's got the tinfoil hat on.
Of course, absolutely. It makes it more.
It makes the force the magic speed, you know, and it attracts it.
I'm exerting calories just trying to remain here right now. I keep having to pull myself forward.
Wait. Is that energy just a concept?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's Dow's argument to me. Is energy just a concept? Anyway, yeah, there we go. This is for Roger again. There we go, Roger. Good to see. Thank you very much. But yeah, we're gonna go through the video from your Mopt. People are still very buttered about my debate with Craig, even with Bob, the science guy. They seem to be very, very much you're just lying.
I know they always say that.
Just lying.
You don't understand and you're lying. That's the only rebuttals I get.
Yep, always.
And then you get the poor Rachie that's not obsessed with me, that puts 4 videos of me a day out.
Nice.
Bob schools Flatzoid on INS, and then just post the clip there, and the INS, what he's talking about, literally makes my point. Stuff like that. It's desperation.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Chris for UMOP. Thank you for this video, man. We'll be watching it now and addressing. I've only watched like the first 2 minutes, I think. So it'll be interesting to see what the rest is. So this is what the globe has to offer, guys. So, Chris, are you ready to tell us what the issue is? Will this flat earther admit being wrong?
Wow.
And what was I wrong about exactly?
Wow.
What's up, everyone? I'm back, and today we're going to be giving Flat Earther and friend of the channel, Flatzoid, a Flatzoid's perspective,
Yo, Flurs.
a chance to demonstrate that he is, in fact, an honest Flat Earther by admitting he was wrong. Let's go.
That guy He's got serious Sampeku eyes, man. What is up with that?
I know. He's just like,
Hi.
I gotta just say something based on that though. His whole, if I have to read that right, Chris, you're trying to say if I don't admit I was wrong because you say I'm wrong, therefore I'm dishonest. That in itself is a fallacious argument. It's illogical. Because you say I'm wrong, if I'm not going to admit I'm wrong because you say I'm wrong, it makes you dishonest. It doesn't actually mean that. People can disagree on things.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
when you're wrong, you admit you're wrong. You come back in another video and say, sorry guys, what I said about this was actually wrong. I admit it, you know what I mean? I was wrong about that. Here's what it actually is. Sorry guys. You know what I mean? You admit it if you're wrong.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Absolutely.
I'm not scared to admit if I'm wrong, guys, just to let you know.
No.
Okay. But let's see.
So the other night, in an after show following his debate with FTFE, Flatzoid brought up this document. It's an official U.S. Marine Corps field manual. Now, this is a serious document and very technical and 784 pages long.
Yes. It's a long document. It's going to take you long to read through. Obviously, I haven't read everything through it, but I have skimmed through it enough to at least know what's said in there. So.
And I will guarantee you that no U.S. Marine, if any, are very few that have read that entire book. Okay?
Well, I can guarantee you none of them use it.
No. You
For
carry that
corrections
around out there.
for Coriolis or anything in real life. Yeah. But we'll get there. We're going to get there.
They act like these snipers are running around with, they got their mess kit, their canteen, their ammo, their rifle, and a slide rule.
I don't think these people understand what standard conditions mean in the manuals.
No.
But we're going to get there.
This is intermediate. I'm beginner.
It explains methods for accurately firing long-range artillery. Now, Flatzoid spent the beginning of his after-show stream looking for a particular page in this document. Apparently, he was frustrated he could not locate it during the debate. Nevertheless, he was able to find it during the after-show. Let's watch.
Look at this, okay? I'm going to go to page 4, and we're going to read through this. Now let's see what it says here. Standard conditions. Air temperature, at 100%, okay? Air density, no wind. Position, gun target and entity altitude, accurate range, no rotation of Earth.
Now, to be fair, if you already think there's no rotation and read this coming out of this source, I could see how someone could look at this and honestly think it's evidence that there is no Earth rotation. The problem is, Flatzoid, you didn't read on, at least not enough.
Like I said, I've actually skimmed through the whole 700 and whatever pages. I've skimmed through it. I didn't read every word, obviously.
Oh, no.
People don't really have time to read through a whole 700 pages or something. That's a long book. But mostly what you can skim through, you realize they don't ever account for actual Coriolis or anything. And I can make my point. Excuse me for 2 seconds, guys.
No problems. Well, there's Matthew Eastman. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Oh, and Alan Norstrand. I don't know if Flats has shouted you out already, but good to see you too. Jeff Hunt, good to see you, man. Shifty Eye Shady, good to see you. Ryan S, he's in the house.
57 watching. We need to hit some thumbs
Patrick
up.
Wombat, good to see you too.
Okay.
Right, we got
Good for you guys.
55 watching, 21 likes. We need to do better than that. Come on, guys.
Why?
Yeah, man.
Just why?
Why? How
Okay.
dare you?
Oh, where am I going now? Okay. You guys can see on screen
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
this point here, okay? I'm gonna unmute. I'm gonna say this is page 174 from 784 page. Okay. So Chris, everybody read with me and see if I'm understanding this correct. Note, when the azimuth of the line of fire is measured, the howitzer is aimed with the adjusted deflection. Okay, so it's aimed with adjusted. So you've made your adjust deflection.
Yeah.
This will result in a polar plot azimuth that compensates for drift.
Yeah.
Now, normal people say, "Oh, yeah, good, it's taking Coriolis into account." Wow.
Drift, different, completely different thing. Sorry.
No, you read totally. If the drift corresponding to the adjusted elevation is removed and a chart deflection is determined, all non-standard conditions other than drift affecting the direction deflection are accounted for in the plot of known point. So in other words, every single standard condition is accounted for except drift.
So here's the as a verb, drift means to be carried slowly by a current of air or water. Noun, a continuous slow movement from one place to another. The general intention or meaning of an argument or someone's remarks. That's not even in the context. And then in the context of leaves, 4 sheep were dug out of the drift in that context. So it doesn't mean, it means the object itself moving, not the reference plane.
Yeah. So let's go back a few steps so they can figure out what this actual drift is that they compensated for. Let's do C first. Because the firing unit will be polar plotted from the known point, the FTC must convert the azimuth, that's over the horizontal, line of fire to back azimuth. So you're deplotting it back. The polar point direction is simply the back azimuth of fire to the known point. Okay, so you're taking it from the azimuth and you're making it back to the point of fire. The polar plot direction equals the azimuth of the line of fire, which is plus minus 3,200 mils. If the adjusted azimuth of fire is less than 3,200 mils, add another 3,200 mils to it. If the adjusted azimuth of fire is greater than 3,200 mils, subtract from it. Is that adding and subtracting due to Earth rotation?
Well, no, because that doesn't indicate a direction. It would be different in every direction, every degree, every minute of angle on the azimuth would be different because you'd be now compensating for a different effect of the supposed spin of the Earth. So it's not referring to anything to do with the Earth turning underneath. The frame of reference stays the same. The drift is the projectile itself.
Yeah, because it'd be a constant rotation. So it'd be every, like sort of says, every point it'd be different. It's like you're moving all the time. You're moving all the time. So it's like it's a moving target as well, I suppose.
Why would you have to compensate firing east or west?
Yeah.
But don't worry, we're still going up on the line. We're still going to go more up on the line to, show again, because we have to do backtracks for these guys so they understand how things work in reality. I just want to say thank you, Roger Ledwell, for another $2 super chat. He says, true servicemen call this guy secretary. Thank you very much for the super chat, man. Good to see you. Hey, Joe's in, FT World. He says he has a link to drop. Yeah, drop a link and we can try and see if we can watch it, man. Thank you very much.
He hasn't got a spanner flat.
Quickly. Now I have to quickly get him on. So, guys, but it's good to see everybody here. How much likes do we have? We have 27 likes and 60 people watching. Can we please, I'm begging you, please just hit the likes because it does help the channel to grow. Really, really does. And it does help you guys to keep up to date with the channel as well.
Yeah, man.
So please do so. Okay, let's carry on quickly. Go backwards to number 2 now. The drift corresponding to the adjusted elevation is stripped out of the adjusted deflection. The result is the chart deflection. The chart deflection is then converted to an azimuth. The example figure 224, the firing unit was laid on a grid azimuth. Common deflection, the adjusted deflection was, and the adjusted elevation was. All these adjusteds are not based on rotation of Earth. Okay? Let's go to 1. The XO or platoon leader will determine the azimuth of the line or fire in accordance with FM 650 and report it to the FTC. You see, this is what I tried to tell Craig when we were debating. He's like, oh, no, the guy just tells me, we just worked it out and then shot. No, the guy has to actually calculate this stuff. And today, at least, we have computers to do that. The fact is they don't take Coriolis into account when doing these things because it's based on standard conditions.
Yeah, there it is, Flats. He's put the link in now.
Awesome. Now I have to get back in there. I can only get links if I'm in YouTube itself.
Yeah, 2:16:30 if you get that.
2 hours 16:30. Oh, he's already got it set. No, it's 1 hour 15. 2:16:30. I'll start at 2:16:26.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see. Okay, share this tab instead. Guys can see that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Let's see what he says.
Sliver, and like super noble of you to say that and in line with what you believe, but I think that's ridiculous.
Okay. But what you got to remember is God is holy, morally perfect. And I am so far from that holiness that to say that I'm really very much superior to a murderer. Yes, I'm obviously morally, ethically superior in one sense, but I fall so far short of God's standard of moral perfection that it's incredible.
Well, that goes back to our conversation earlier about.
That's so true, but I just want to know. Sorry, this is a bit off topic, though.
Oh, it states on the impulsive.
Yeah.
Logan Paul.
Jeremy Bird, thank you for your $10 super chat. Says, I'm on a strict gravy diet. Thanks for the buffet. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it, Jeremy. You rock.
He said you're not at 2:16:30.
2:16. It is. Oh, it's 1:16.
Yeah, 2:16. You need to go.
Sorry, guys. See, I was wrong there. I'm so sorry, guys.
There you go.
See,
next one was wrong.
Hey, guys. I'm honest. I admitted I was wrong there. I'm sorry. Thank you, Joe. But I would love to listen to that conversation you just had with him there. I think that'd be quite cool. Okay, let's see.
A god if time has a beginning. That's why Einstein had a fudge factor. He didn't want there to be a god, but he said, let's create a fudge factor to make it seem like the universe has lasted forever. But it hasn't lasted forever, so he had to become a polytheist at least. So if the aliens come down and say, no, the world is X amount of years and the cosmos has lasted forever, I would have to say, there's probably no God.
Ooh.
What would you go with?
And what does the globe push, guys? Aliens.
Aliens, yeah, of course. Yeah. You've got a big, vast space out there, with loads of planets in our solar system. And you've got the next galaxy, Andromeda, then you get galaxies after that, they've got their own planet. So obviously there's aliens out there, guys. Obviously, gotta be.
Exactly. There we go. Jeremy, you rock. Thank you very much. But that's very true. The aliens, if they do push aliens, and that will push a lot of people away from God. And that's what the heliocentric model does, unfortunately, guys.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure if there was
let's see what it says.
I'm sure if it was aliens, if it was other people in other planets, God would have told us in His inspired word somehow. You know.
Yeah.
Funny how it's pushed me.
I do not know if they're aliens or not. I'm totally open to it. Second point is, obviously, the Bible talks about angels and demons. So obviously, there's some type of non-human life that's real. Third point, what I have thought about is, if aliens came tomorrow and said that it was good to slaughter human beings and to eat them as hamburgers, what would be wrong with that? See, the moral relativist has no answer to that. The moral relativist says morality is just relative, which means today.
And this is exactly the issue I had with Brenda.
Yeah.
What's morality, Brenda? Oh no, it's my own desires. What I think is cool.
Everybody's individual desires. That's morality. That's fine. You know.
And this is exactly what I was trying to say to Brenda, but Brenda couldn't understand. Selfishness is not morality. To you, stealing is immoral. To someone else, stealing is moral. To you, murder is immoral. To someone else, it is moral because you don't have a set standard. You only have your own opinion on what is moral and not moral.
That's right.
And that's why it's immoral.
He said it was based on his desires.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if you desire someone else's property, is it moral for you to obtain it from that person?
Well,
exactly.
Yeah, obviously. Crazy. It's craziness to think that.
We kill
Let's quickly see what he says so we can get back on point.
Kill cows and eat hamburgers. We humans kill cows, eat hamburgers. So if aliens were to come tomorrow, start killing us and eat human burgers, there's nothing absolutely wrong with that because morality is relative.
There's a Twilight Zone episode with that exact purpose.
Okay.
Not even kidding.
Now, because there is a God who's eternal, who's the creator, no, I would argue, it is wrong to kill humans, murder humans, and eat human burgers because God created human beings with an innate value. So that doesn't change. So I wouldn't be blown out of the water at all if next year we found out definitely aliens exist and they're extraterrestrial life. It's totally compatible with the Bible's worldview.
Okay.
Hey, EFT. How's up, Joe? What's up?
How's it going?
Good.
Good to see you, Joe, man. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, they talk about flat Earth in this, and the pastor says about he trusts modern science, and that the Earth is round. And so I thought we should. Right now I'm like limited with my computer; it's got issues, but so I wanted to point this out because like this video just came out a few days ago. It's got almost 1 million views, I think, and this is like a kind of like a famous pastor.
Right.
So.
He preaches. He actually does a lot of. He goes to a lot of universities and things, and he does a lot
like
of
debates,
activism and stuff.
Yep.
He's really good.
Yeah, I like it. I like what he says. Like this was like a 2.5. Like I listened to this whole thing the other day, and like I've always kind of followed Logan Paul a little bit. Like at him and his brother, I think that those guys they're like famous, obviously, but I think that they have a better foundation than a lot of the people that we hear about. But,
Yeah. But I think we'll definitely do the stream then on that because it's a bit off topic.
Sorry about the off topic.
But I think let's do a stream on it. Actually, I think it'll be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Maybe tomorrow night even. We'll see.
I mean, I'm following Jake Paul when it comes to the boxing against Tyson. That I see the Impulsive podcast not directly, usually through other streams and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I look at Logan Paul and Jake Paul a bit as well. Definitely.
Yeah. But thanks for the link. Yeah, I think I'll definitely look through it and maybe we can do it tomorrow night or something because I think that's another subject we should discuss.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I agree. That's why I wanted to show it to you. So
cool.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Another $5 super chat from Roger. He says, some people think The Last Starfighter was a documentary. That's true.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Roger, you rock, man.
Later, Joe. If you're going, later, man. Bless you.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, Joe rocks. Shout out to Joe.
Excellent.
Definitely.
Love his thoughts as well. Same as Haskins. Love his thoughts.
So this is going to go on with what we were talking about now with the standard conditions and everything. I'm so happy I got this today. So, yeah, let's watch this and we see what he has to say. Remember, he was in the military for many, many years. And he explains based on the non-standard conditions and how people don't account for the things. Even using the same gunnery glossary that I brought up, oddly enough. So that's quite good.
Regards to gunnery and weapons. Every time that I saw, when I did my research, heliocentrism tried to creep.
You see that what we just read, guys, with that deflection 3,200 and stuff? You see there?
Yeah.
That's what they were talking about, the 200 mils and stuff.
Ah,
It's
yeah.
got nothing to do with drift whatsoever of Earth rotation. But yeah, just watch this.
Into military science identified it and made it a non-factor. In other words, we'll put it in there, but we're not going to use it. I'll give you the example. In this table, ATB 3-0922, this is a weapons range fan, left and right limit. Your 200 mils left, 200 mils right. That's your fan. That's what you can fire your weapon. U.S. artillery weapons. Anytime you go outside that, you have to physically shift the weapon. So what they did is, cleverly, they've put in, you add 1 mil for the Earth's curve beyond 3,400. Well, guess what? You're going outside the limit. You have to physically shift the weapon. That's where you're going to get your 1 to 10 mil displacement.
Did you guys hear that? You physically have to move it so it's out of sync to say you're getting correction for Earth. What does that tell you?
It's not. He said it. It's not a factor. It's not a factor at all. Rotation. He said it's not a factor.
It gets better.
So whoever did this, they were very clever. Very, very clever. And they did the same thing for beyond 3,000. You're outside that weapon's range. Of course you're going to shift. You're going to have the 1 to 10 mil displacement. And in every instance I found this, I found 2. Here's the other one. If it's
Does this page look familiar? Remember my page 4 I brought up? Listen what he says about it.
For artillery, it's on this table. It is on this table. And then look at standard conditions. This is used every time. Meteorological data, temperature, wind. I want you to look at gun target line position. In other words, the position of the cannon to the impact area. Look at number 3. What does it say? No rotation of the Earth. This is a standard condition. In other words, hey, we identified you heliocentrist, however, we don't need you. It doesn't work. And then they listed the rotation of the Earth down here as a non-standard condition. Guess when they use non-standard?
0. Does that answer what I said?
Yeah.
So they don't use non-standard. That's exactly my point.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to get people like Craig, that was a potato peeler on a submarine, claiming he did take Coriolis into account, and when I asked him how did he do it, he couldn't tell me. Do you know one of the arguments was, I'm dumb because I only gave him 10 seconds to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
That's how brilliant the rebuttals are. Just joined. Is that Terry or Reichel? No, that's not Reichel, man. This guy was an actual high-ranking official in the military for many years.
What?
Yeah. It's good to see you, LJ, man. But let's carry on listening what he says. Very good.
It's never used. Very clever again. Everything else is very important. If it's on there, it's critical. atmospherical lensing and refraction exists at 10 to 15 degrees down to the ground. The heliocentrists know this, and they will use that against you when you conduct your experiments. That's why I said, go up and use the sun, man. That's the real answer. Weapons bore sighting, the same thing. You have line of parallel. You can exceed, if you look here on the right, you have lines of parallel, the cannon tube and then the weapon sight. You can exceed the line of parallel. You can't. Otherwise, you're instituting a lead. You can adjust the weapon sight in towards the cannon tube, but you cannot exceed the line of parallel. You are instituting a lead. When I talk to the military guys about that, that's when it clicks for me. I said, remember when you do weapons bore sighting? Line of parallel. And they're like, oh, dude, I forgot about that.
In other words, they lean it to make that correction. They literally physically lean. And then because they've leaned it physically and are making that correction, they think it's drift. I mean,
wow.
So let's put it this way. When you take your rifle and you've done the groupings, and you change just one click on your mil dots. Okay? And you shoot and it goes different. Would you have to, you can either physically move your gun or you can just change the mil dot setting again, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Does
so
that
what
mean the earth rotated or did you move?
Right. You actually, what you're doing is you want ideal conditions when you zero the rifle to begin with.
Yeah.
Then when you see deflection in your grouping, you compensate with the mil dots. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what you compensate. Okay, I've got a crosswind of this amount. And it's causing me to drift over at 100 yards. I'm a quarter inch off. So I'm going to want to put my crosshairs about a quarter of an inch that much to the right of the bullseye. That's what you're just compensating for other factors, nothing to do with the spin of the earth or anything else like it. You've got bullet drop and windage. That's it. This is why you have two settings on it. Yeah, elevation and windage.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting?
You don't have the new Coriolis setting. No.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? Even with remember when I was debating Bob, where he said, okay, he doesn't not there to debate. He said 1,000 miles, you only get like 3 or 4 centimeters drift. Why would you need to account for anything for 3 or 4 centimeters? And since when do you shoot 1,000 meters? I'm sorry, did you say 1,000 miles? I think.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what he's using to shoot 1,000 miles, but
he said 1,000 miles. Oh, he said a 308.
No. I'm sorry, no.
But anyway, the point is 1,000 miles. He said you only have 3 to 4 centimeters of deflection. Then you don't need to do it. I mean, how big? Let's say there's a ship, a battleship. How large is a battleship?
Wow.
Okay. Do you think 3 or 4 centimeters deflection will change if you hit your target or not? And last time I checked, they're not really shooting 1,000 miles.
There's 2 knobs on this scope. There's 2 knobs on here.
Yeah, nice.
One to adjust the windage, and the other one to adjust the elevation. Okay, so one moves your crosshairs up and down, the other one moves them left and right.
Azimuth.
That's it.
There we go.
More to it.
Yeah, the vertical one is because things lose momentum, so you have to take your drop into account because it needs to go and fall, becomes ballistic. Your azimuth is the horizontal. No earth rotation, no curve. It's just how things work. It's physics. Yeah. They love to say, "Oh, it's it is definitely because of curve, and it's definitely because of earth rotation." No matter how much we show them, it's not.
Yeah.
At 1,000 yards, a gnat farting on your gun can just make you be off because it was you take a straight line, right, and you project it. The further you project it out, all you have to do is just move it, just the width of a hair,
Fraction.
It's a starting point, and it can be off by inches at the other end.
Exactly. Okay, let's carry on with this.
Sector range fan, real quick. Again, if you're 1 degree off your line of survey at 46 degrees or a cumulative total of 91 degrees, you're over 1.5 million miles off line of survey.
Crazy.
That's how far their grid pattern is off. References for these links, they're on the website. Operation Resolute Time, the breakdown, where it took place in Kabul, Afghanistan. I did it in 2000.
Okay, we probably don't have to go through all this, but I mean, we've made the point. Because this is just all the other stuff now. So we can go back to him. But what did we catch from that? Oh yeah, they don't ever take other than standard conditions into account. Even I read it for you on the glossary on page 174. I think that's quite clear. But let's see what he has to say, because he just did start his video. So
yeah, you clicked around to a few other pages and searched for something about Coriolis being wind, but that was about it. No worries though, I've got your back, and honestly, I was curious and wanted to understand why it says what it says on page 4 regarding the standard conditions and no Earth rotation. So I carried on searching the document after you ended the stream and went to bed. Let's take a look at what I found. So I believe this is just another honest misunderstanding on your behalf. In this case,
non-standard conditions. Yeah, okay. Remember what he just said about non-standard conditions? Do they ever use it?
It has to do with what is meant by standard conditions. Okay, I'm here in chapter 11, and you see the same table you showed us on page 4. Let me read the sentence real quick. The firing tables used to determine firing data for artillery weapons are based on an arbitrary set of standard conditions of weather, position, and material.
And I got a quote place in there. Don't you think it's a bit hypocritical for the Globies not to understand standard conditions is the building blocks for everything you're doing your corrections on? So just like they got their standard terrestrial refraction 7/6R, you understand? These standard conditions is no rotation, no wind. Oh, and I even had people telling me today, you're debunking yourself because it says no wind. So I said, have you guys ever stepped out your house before? There are days that there is no wind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Let's carry on.
Yeah, and the angle of elevation.
The first 7 columns of Table F of the TFT are based on one of 2 conditions occurring. Condition 1. Standard conditions are in effect. If standard conditions are in effect, there's no rotation of the Earth. Condition 2. The sum of the corrections for all non-standard conditions in effect equals 0.
So 0. Let's read that again. The sum of the corrections for all non-standard corrections in effect equals 0. There's those only 2. By default, what you just linked, what you just highlighted there, says 0. So it keeps as standard condition.
Yeah. If it's 0, then it's a standard. Yeah, absolutely. It's easy to understand. It's not hard. No, it's not hard.
I'm really starting to wonder if people are blatantly trying to read wrong. Or are they just, I don't know. Sorry, Chris, but it's not like you're reading correctly or you're trying to read something that's not there. Because it says there, the sum of the corrections, that means everything of all the corrections together. Okay, for all the non-standard conditions, they all in effect equal 0.
So that
literally means it's standard condition.
Yeah.
So there's 2. Yeah. So there's only 2 options. It's either standard or it's standard.
That's it.
And remember, I read on page 174 where it says, even when taking into the non-standard conditions, drifts still stay standard. No rotation of Earth then. Okay, let's carry on.
Yeah, if geometry says if Coriolis force was a real, it would be a law. If it was real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is obvious that the first will never occur. Okay? Standard conditions will never occur.
And the second has minimal chance of occurring. Why are you not reading that part, Chris?
Wow.
Let's go back quickly.
Don't make it standard.
Let's read it. Okay. It's
Yeah.
obvious that the first part will never occur. Then you read on. And the second has a minimal chance of occurring.
Yeah.
Therefore, if a unit wants to provide surprise and massed fires, it must consider the effects of non-standard conditions in some way. The best solution to correct for all non-standard conditions, in effect, is to register. This allows a unit to achieve first-round FFE on an accurately located target. To correctly determine registration corrections and the effects of non-standard conditions as they change over time, a unit must follow the 5 steps to improve firing data. See table 11.1. Let's quickly go to that.
Yeah.
Let's quickly look if we can find that. Which page would that be now? Did he give a page number?
Isn't that the 5 steps underneath it?
I'm just looking. What is so? You guys just talk amongst yourself while I look quickly. FM 640.
Yeah.
I'm gonna search.
Yeah. Is there anything new in? Yeah, we've got Emerald Boar. Hi, Gematria. I don't think we said hello, Gematria. Did we? All right. Hello, Gematria again.
Steps
Yeah, but we're not Emerald Boar.
Make
Hello.
it great again.
Oh yeah, mate, go great again. Hiya, good to see you. New people. Yeah. But yeah, everybody hit the likes, smash them. Smash the show and share the likes.
Smash the show, yeah, guys, please do. So I'm just trying to look for the right page.
Same page. Jeff says same page.
Same page? No, I'm on page 4. And it's not, that's not there. It's FM 640. Correction. 316.4. He's got it as 640, 11. 640. Well, factor site. Sorry, guys, just got to look for this quickly. It would help if you actually gave us a page number.
Yeah.
13, 15, 1640, 15.2, 1640, 1640. 640. I need 640. Yeah, 640. I'm there, but I'm not at that exact page. Determining procedures to determine max effective illumination area. No. Data to determine the either graphical tubular. No. The minimum quadrant. Is it section 2? Wait, he did show which section he was, though. Correct? I'm just going to quickly press play. Go back a bit.
Right, yeah.
There's no rotation. Conditions are in effect. If standard conditions are in effect, there's no rotation.
Okay,
conditions
go back to where you were. I want to see what amendment.
based on an earthquake. It has to do with
meteorological techniques. Chapter 2. Okay, thank you.
There it is. Yeah, there it is.
Okay, let's go to chapter 2. Section 2, common restrictive manual. Why am I not seeing it in this? chapter. Section 3. It goes straight to section 3. Quadrant field manual, chapter 11, meteorology. Okay. Chapter 1. Okay. Oh, okay. It's going to be quite down. 4. Sorry, guys. Section 2, message up to no. Section. Chapter 6. Oh, man. Chapter 2. I don't know. I can't find it. Is he even on the same one? I don't know, guys. It's like I'm like I can't find it. If you're watching this, Chris, would you be able to just tell us what page it is? It usually does help to tell us. Chapter 7.
Hey, cool, Punja. Good to see you, man.
Hey, what's good, guys, to see you. But yeah, at the moment, it's very simple. We're not seeing any deviation for Coriolis. For Earth rotation. So I don't know why I have to say I'm wrong.
Yeah, good idea. Good idea, Shift the Eyes. Shift the Eyes series is keep looking for it on mine, on his.
Section 2 for us. Section 3. Just tell me if I'm going too fast, guys. There, it's there. Chapter 11, is it? Let me make sure. Chapter 11, meteorological attack. Got it. Okay. So this is his bring up.
Oh,
sorry, what did you say?
Yeah, I was just saying, nice one to Code Puncher for what he said. He said he just listened to Vicky's video, the last video, and he said our sincerity is plain to hear. I wish you joy as you openly express yourself. Bless you for that, Code Puncher.
Yeah, you rock, Vicky. Guys, do subscribe to Vicky's channel. That's really awesome stuff. I agree.
Put your link.
Okay, so let's read through this, what it actually says. Because this is what he had up. Met techniques described. Oh no, this is understanding. I'm still not there. But it's the same. Why? Oh no, it's the same. Okay, it is that one.
Yeah, it is
no,
the
this
same.
is section 1, principle. His one says section 1. No, it's the same. Okay, let's read it through. Accurate fires can be placed on targets of known locations without adjustments. So known locations don't even need adjustments, guys.
I wonder why.
Under standard conditions. The firing table data would achieve the desired result.
Wow.
However, it is valid to assume that standard conditions will not exist, okay? Because you can assume that. Corrections need to be applied to firing table data to compensate for the non-standard conditions of the weather, position, and material. The most accurate means of determining these corrections is by registering. Registration corrections are only valid within transfer limits and for a specified period of time. However, conducting a registration may not be an option. Therefore, techniques are needed to mathematically determine the corrections and compensate for changing non-standard conditions. The meta techniques are used to measure deviations from standard conditions to compute corrections for them. Firing tables used to determine firing data for artillery weapons are based on an arbitrary set of standard conditions of weather, position, and material. The standards for weather are established by ICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization. Okay? So that gives the same what we just saw. And we can carry on. The first 7 columns of table F are based on 2 of the conditions occurring. In other words, standard and still standard. It's obvious that the first will never occur, and the second has a minimal chance of occurring. Therefore, the unit wants to provide surprise and massed fires. It must consider the effects of non-standard conditions in some way. The best solution is to correct for the non-standard conditions in effect is to register. We read this already. Now let's actually read this. 5 steps to improve firing data. This is the actions you must take, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Round bursts at the point of known location. What does that tell you?
Round.
So this is why I asked Dave earlier, when you take your groupings, you take a grouping of many shots.
Yeah.
So they take a couple of shots at the same location to group for accuracy.
Yeah.
I usually use 3. I use 3 shots.
Yeah. Because it's not about hitting the middle target, is it? It's about your grouping, how your grouping is. Yeah.
But would you say that is accounting for Earth spin, Coriolis, or is that trying to take a shot and see how accurate it is to the location you're shooting? So, in other words, when you're in a war situation and you're shooting and you see you've missed left, you adjust right. When you see you've missed up, you adjust down.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
Nothing to do with Earth curve, nothing to do with Earth rotation.
No, because like Salv said, you would have to adjust every single point. Every single point.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah.
Every time. Because if you think about that, you're on this reference frame. It's rotating east to west.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you go one degree, just 1 degree toward the north from east. Now compare that to 2 degrees. You're going to get different effects because now you're going in an angle to this spin that is ever changing as you're going in that direction. But now you're not going linear to it. You're not going perpendicular to it. You're not going parallel to it. You're going across it at different degrees. This is going to change the time period that bullet or that projectile is in that zone of spin of that speed, because that's going to keep decreasing if you go to the north or to the south.
Exactly.
It's
hey,
ridiculous.
Chris is in, guys. Hey, Chris, good to see you. You can come in if you want to, man. It'll be great to have a chat with you. We're just going to carry on going out. Okay, so it says, known point for precision registration and mean burst location. Okay. Determine should hit and did it hit data. So in other words, they take a shot and they pinpoint, they plot the data. Did it hit or didn't it hit? This is exactly what it said. So should hit data are data that when fired under standard conditions, remember they have to use standard conditions first, causes the round to burst at the point of known location. Did hit data are data that when fired under non-standard conditions cause the round to burst at the point of known location. So they take a shot and they had it at non-standard. If they find, okay, the burst is at known location or non-standard, that means great. If it missed, then they have to make corrections for it. In other words, they just missed it. Determine the corrections total. Determine the GFT setting will always represent the corrections. Apply the total correction to subsequent missions to achieve the first round. Total corrections equal the sum of met corrections and position constants. So met and position. The met conditions, all measurables, non-standard conditions, which you can account. Hey, Chris, what's up, man?
Oh, he's in. He's in. How you doing, Chris? Good to see you, man.
Hey, what's up? So, did you see what I've been showing this whole time so far?
I've got a new thing now that I use.
I got the stream open. My bad.
I got it.
Sorry, I had the stream open and I just closed it. All good.
No stress, man.
I got a new thing that I use now because the cost of ammo has gone up. So there are lasers that I can calibrate it for whatever size rifle I'm using, right? And so that it runs a laser right straight down the barrel, right down the middle of the barrel. And then all I have to do is put that dot on my zeroing target and then adjust my crosshairs so that I've got that. And then usually when I go to fire, if I'm not dead nuts on, I'm like a millimeter off. Thing's great because you do that, man, and then you start going the wrong way by accident on your shit.
It's crazy, yeah. It's crazy out.
Yeah.
Then you struggle to get your groupings back properly, exactly.
Yep.
So anyway, Chris, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Yeah, thanks for checking out the video. I just joined a little bit ago, but I already hear like maybe I didn't explain what I was trying to say in the video as well, and you guys I think are just no offense, but misunderstanding what it says here and still misunderstanding what standard conditions are. So if it's all right, I'd like to try and explain for a moment and see what you guys
Go
think.
ahead. Go ahead.
Standard conditions are basically not taking into account where this ring go.
Oh, no.
No, you're that.
All right. Standard conditions is basically someone shooting without taking into account any of the atmospheric effects. So no wind. That's why it says no wind. No Earth's rotation. So you're not taking into anything. So imagine you're getting in front of your target, looking down your scope. You're going to point the scope right on the bullseye, right? But of course, non-standard conditions don't exist. It's basically, well, it is impossible because of the rotation. But like you said, the wind.
No, you're wrong.
All right, wait, hold on, Sovereign. Sovereign.
I've had ideal conditions. I look for ideal conditions when there's absolutely no wind.
Standard
conditions.
Baby,
That's ideal.
No. I know that is ideal, but it is not going to be the case most of the time. So the whole point of this document is to say, hey, we need to take into account these other effects. We can't just blindly point the center of the bullseye with our scope and pull if we want to, because you're not right. There's going to be wind. There's going to be drop. There's always going to be drop. If you don't take these things into account, you're going to miss the target, right? And that will vary depending on how windy it is, depending on how far you are, right? So the point is the standard condition is basically the ignorant shooter who just aims towards the center and doesn't take into account anything, how far they are, the wind, which direction, how strong, or the rotation. You'll miss the target. The whole point of this is to say, hey, we need to factor in X, Y, Z. One of those things is Earth's rotation. Okay, so if you go back,
say that.
Sorry, that's wrong. We got on page here. Do you know what we're reading through here? Where the hit data?
Scroll up, please, Fatsoid.
We just read through that, but I'm trying to ask you. Do you know what hit data is? This is what you're reading about. Should hit data and did hit data. Do you know what that means?
No, tell me.
The should hit data. Okay, so you're looking at a target and you're shooting. This is based on standard conditions. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Not taking into account wind or rotation or any of those things.
Great. Yeah. So it's all just standard. There's no wind, nothing, and it hits it. Great. But if it misses it, you make correction for the miss. So in other words,
exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
That's got nothing to do with Earth rotation, though, because we read on page 174, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, show me, because it does. This is exactly what this is saying. You're close, exactly. If you don't take into account anything and you just shoot, thinking it's standard conditions, so not taking anything into account, you're not going to hit. If you hit, which is basically impossible, fine, but everyone's going to miss by some degree. And so what we need to do is adjust based on the non-standard conditions. So what's the difference?
Right, but that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I said you watch from the beginning, because I'm going to read you this here quickly.
Okay, go ahead. Bye.
Okay, note, when the azimuth of the line of fire is measured, the howitzer is aimed with adjusted deflection. This will result in a polar plot azimuth that compensates for drift. Okay, if the drift corresponding to the adjusted elevation is removed and the chart deflection is determined, all non-standard conditions other than drift is affecting the deflection are accounted for in the plot.
That's correct. Yeah, 100% agree with that. That's basically saying.
So not drift then.
No. This is saying that if this is saying you can attribute 100% of the miss that you just missed. If you basically missed, and then you only adjust for drift, and it hits dead center, then the only issue with that first shot was not accounting for drift. This is just a
but the reference frame
to help for understanding.
No, it's telling you
isn't drifting. The drift is of the object itself. Drift can happen, especially the bigger the caliber, right? Happens due to the spin from the rifling. That's where you get drift from outside of wind.
This is an example.
Now, I've witnessed this. with standard rifling, and if you go and turn and use an H&K, which uses the opposite side twist, you'll get the same effect in the opposite direction. So it has nothing to do with rotation of the Earth. The Earth isn't drifting.
This doesn't have any.
The projectile itself drifts.
This is not the point of this paragraph at all. The point of the paragraph is saying, if you miss by X amount, and then you compensate for drift by X amount, and
it's
then
saying you don't it says the only one you don't compensate for is drift.
Yeah.
Right. Is that all right? The only right. No, all non-standard conditions other than drift affecting the deflection on account. Right. So right there it says you.
It's compensating for all except for drift. In other words,
you can remove all the others because adjusting for drift hit the bullseye.
It says you compensate for the others. Drift stays at its standard.
No, what do you mean?
Drift stays at standard. Everything else is non-standard correction. Drift is not accounted for.
Okay, let me explain. So this went the other way around. This basically says if you're hitting bullseye and then you remove your adjustment for drift and it hits the spot where you would expect hadn't you adjusted for drift, therefore that change was due to drift only. If it hits the spot you predicted, it would hit when you remove drift.
No.
So you say, okay, I hit center. Now I'm going to remove my compensation for drift. If it hits that point that it should, if drift is the only thing affecting, so I'm going to remove my compensation for drift. And if this is the only thing affecting my shot, it's going to hit in that spot off center. If it hits that spot off center, the only thing I changed was removing drift compensation, and
which is windage.
No. Can I tell you what it says? If the drift corresponding to adjusted elevation, in other words, you've adjusted your elevation, is removed. Okay, not Earth spin. Okay, and a chart affected all non-standard conditions other than your drift is affecting the deflection. Do you understand?
Yes,
so that's saying your drift is not affecting it. Everything else is.
It says they're accounted for. It means they're
saying drift is not accounted for.
No. It says all non-standard conditions other than drift.
They adjusted elevation, so they moved the actual firing. They moved the position with elevation.
Do
you understand?
Last line.
So they had to recompensate because of that actual movement, the lean or elevation of the actual artillery, and not account for the drift. Otherwise, they would miss. Everything else is accounted for besides the drift.
Exactly. So everything else is accounted for means you're bang on with accounting for the rotation. You've accounted for the
drift.
No.
There's no rotation accounted for. They don't account for the drift. That's what it's saying.
It says all non-standard conditions other than drift affecting the deflection are accounted for, meaning you are right on with all of those. You've
other
nailed
than
those.
Drift,
So you've accounted for rotation. You've accounted for drop. You've accounted
drift would be the rotation.
This is just a logical example to help with understanding. This is just saying if you change one variable and you hit where you expect, and all of your other variables that you have accounted for, they're fine. They are accounted for. Drift was the problem.
No, it's saying you don't account for drift when making the corrections when you change the elevation. That's what it's saying.
Right, exactly. If you don't, and then you hit where you expect. You expect.
In other words, if I'm moving my turret, I've moved it. I have to make corrections. Every single correction I make because I moved it is everything wind, drop, azimuth, everything, not Earth rotation. That's the one thing you don't change.
No, it's saying that if you do not account for drift and you get the result you expect, which is different from when you did and now if I remove my accounting for drift, and now I hit where I expect to hit when I don't account for drift, that means everything else is all set, and drift is that.
Well, what is the actual quantification calculation for drift? Let's take this in. Hold on, wait a second. Because like I brought up before, if I'm facing east-west and fire the projectile, I'm going to have one type of compensation, if none, right? And then I move 1 degree, then 2 degrees, then 3 degrees, because now what we're doing is we're crossing over planes of lateral speed that are ever changing exponentially as we go in the direction of north. Even though we're headed east by northeast, we're still changing every time we do that. There's going to be a longer period of time or a shorter period of time that projectile is going to be subject to that centrifugal or that tangential speed at that location. So that's a crock. That the whole nobody's compensating for earth spin. You compensate for windage. Drift refers to the object drifting, not the reference plane of where the fire is taking place.
All right. You guys are never going to understand. I have
over 50 years of firearms experience, my friend.
I don't doubt you, man. That's not the point. The point is that the whole premise of this article, you guys are misunderstanding. It's saying
you're making it backwards to what it says.
No.
Even what you read here on screen, standard conditions, that you said these are the only 2 corrections, okay? Standard conditions, or in fact, is what's always the set standard for the shots, okay? So that's assuming no wind, no rotation, no everything, like you said, okay? Then they're taking the did it hit or should it hit shot. That's when they make the corrections with no drift, okay? Okay, but anyway, when you get this, the sum of all corrections of not all non-standard correction effect equals 0. This literally means it goes back to standard. It is 0. It's the same thing. It means all of it equals to 0. It goes back to standard.
No, it means they sum to 0. It doesn't mean that each one matches the ones in the table. It doesn't mean wind is 0.
It sums to 0, so it becomes in effect
right, but it's not condition. The same. Do you understand? It's not the same.
It becomes a standard condition because they do groupings.
Right, they all would add up to being the same result. So if you shot one place under one condition, it would hit the same place, but they're not identical.
And then we're going to say this again.
Yeah.
Because you didn't finish reading this. It is obvious that the first will never occur, obviously, because you can't perfectly have no place where there's no wind or whatever, okay? And the second has a minimal chance of occurring.
All right, yes. So you misunderstood this. Allow me to explain. The second one has a minimal chance of occurring. Exactly. There's nearly 0 chance that all of the non-standard conditions offset each other, and we're right back where we started, as if it was nothing. That is nearly impossible. That's what that's saying. So
where's the third option then?
That's like saying the wind, the air pressure, the earth, like all of these things just happen to align and cancel each other out. That is what that is saying, and that is why that says that's basically near.
So it goes back to standard.
It's right, but it's right.
It's only those 2 options. It either standard,
You're right.
or it has other that makes it default back to standard.
Everything offsetting, so essentially it's equal to standard, but not standard.
No rotation then. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So the first one's impossible, and the second one is obviously a low chance of happening. The chances are that if it was windy, but the density, the humidity, and the distance on that particular day all offset perfectly to basically zero it back out and cancel each other out, that is basically impossible as well.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm just going to say, Roger Little, thank you for $2 super chat. Grasping at straws much. Thank you very much for your super chat. You rock, man. There's your Roger, you rock from. But I just want to carry on, wait, before we go on. Because that's what I was doing. Do you know what did hit and should hit is? Because that's what they do. They aim at a position. They take a shot. They say, we missed 2 clicks to the left. Now they start doing the corrections based on those 2 clicks to the left. Then they shoot again and say, we are maybe now a click too high.
Yeah.
That's all they do. They don't take correction for Earth rotation. They have to. How are you going to take?
Let's
sorry?
not yet. Let's just.
This is why you use spotters.
Let's just talk about standard conditions. Sovereign.
This is basic stuff.
Do you take into account wind?
Yes.
Exactly. That's all. We're in agreement that standard conditions is a poor way to shoot.
Those are ideal conditions. Those are ideal conditions. Okay.
But
in standard conditions, you're going to compensate for wind. And here's the problem over long distances, Mop. Here's the problem over long distances. You don't have consistent wind over that distance.
Sovereign, I agree. I understand all that.
That ends up being a problem. That ends up being a problem. So when you have crosswinds, that's not ideal at all. But you can compensate for it by marking your first round. Just like with artillery, you'll hear the spotter call in the coordinates and say fire for effect. And that round will hit. They'll fire one round and that round will hit. And that spotter will tell them what adjustments to make based on that. And you know what he's not doing? You know what he's not doing? He's not looking for what the spin of the earth is.
Great. I know. And that's fine. They're not. But the point of this article is that they should. It would improve. If the more hold on.
That's not the point of this article.
The more things you can account for, because the standard conditions are not the conditions outside, right? They are not.
Here's the problem, why would an artillery shell traveling at a tremendous speed that it does have to compensate for this when an airplane doesn't?
No, wait, it doesn't. Can I carry on reading this quickly? Then I can show you why it doesn't compensate for this.
You guys have to meet me here. You have to.
It says it in here, Chris.
You have to understand that improving on that accounting for stuff, because standard conditions are not your conditions in the field. The more things you can account for, the more accurate you will be. If you can measure the wind and account for it, you'll improve. Correct?
Okay. Let's quickly read this through, then you can see. Met corrections, these are all of them together, okay? Met corrections are all measurables non-standard conditions for which you can account, okay? These are all effects of weather, propellant, temperature, projectile weight, and rotation of the Earth. Note, in brackets, that is, any corrections for non-standard conditions in the TFT. Position constraints are all non-standard conditions that are difficult to identify, relatively small in magnitude, and remain relatively constant. These include, but are not limited to, met, not up to date, unknown errors in measuring, met, errors in measuring, MV, known as errors in survey, firing chart, construction, inherent error captured during the registration, and any human error that occurred during human registration procedures. Other words, anything that caused the correction during the registration that cannot be classified as met correction, there are these three position constants: position deflection, correction, position velocity error, and position fuse correction. Not Earth rotation. It's such small in magnitude you can't even account for it.
It's not saying you can't. It's saying
it is small in magnitude and remain relatively constant.
And when you're using an artillery shell, if you're off by 3 millimeters, it doesn't freaking matter, dude. Have you ever seen what an artillery shell does?
Yes, and they miss by a mile. Yes, they don't miss by 3 millimeters. You're off by miles.
You're not missing by a mile. So where are you getting at? You tell me one where they're missing by a mile.
Oh my God! With the naval battle we got in with Iran in the early 2000s when we blew up two of their ships.
What?
I mean, yeah, and they
mile.
Yes, if you don't account for shit, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry to curse. You will be. If you're dealing with, they're 10 miles away from each other. If 10 miles away is like from me to my screen, and if you're talking the naval battle,
I know how far 10 miles is. I've seen artillery
naval battle. That's not, yeah, and things
usually pretty right on, man.
They're not. It's
Dude, how much time in the field do you have, my friend? How much time in the field do you have? How many artillery firings have been around?
Do you want to understand? That is not.
I'm just telling you, man. I know. You're going by what you've been told. I know for a fact.
We're not even disagreeing, Sovereign. It doesn't matter what I think about how much this will affect the outcome and how much it'll throw you off target. That is not the point. The point is just what the article is stating. I didn't write it. It doesn't matter what I think. What it's saying is that the more things that we have standard conditions, which is just a made up base. And if we just assume that, we're going to be off. The more things we can account for, however small, of course, wind would be a big one, right? I'm not saying it's
one primary one, man.
The point of the article is just saying the more things we can account for, the more. This is about improving accuracy, and it's just saying that hey, if we include Earth's rotation and account for that, it will make us more accurate. It doesn't say that it's going to make a tremendous difference. This is not the point. The point is that Flatzoid, you read page 4 and read standard conditions and thought that was basically claiming that the Earth doesn't rotate, and that is not what this says. This says
it does. What you've been reading the whole night is saying you don't take it into account.
If you don't take it into account, you will be off. The more things we can take into account to match reality, the more.
How do I explain this? This is a cup, okay? I got this glass, and I stick it 100 meters, a kilometer away. It doesn't matter. I just stick it in a position, and I now aim my rifle and I shoot. Oh, I've missed left. I compensate knowing I missed left to shoot it a bit 2 clicks right. Now I've hit it the second time. Did I compensate for Earth rotation, or did it just compensate for my missed shot?
You're missing it. You're assuming no.
That's exactly what we just read.
This is after your rifle. This is after your rifle. Fazzoid. That's before all this happens. This is assuming a rifle that is zeroed in, and then if you miss, when you know your rifle is zeroed in, we have to figure out why. Okay, and so one of them will be wind. You didn't account for the zeroed in.
The primary one's going to be windage. Never are they going to say, "Oh, it's because of the spin of the Earth. Let me get my slide rule and we'll figure this out." No, they don't. We're off by this much. We correct by this much.
That's fine, Sovereign. Maybe they don't, or maybe they never did or haven't. But the point is that even the most minute differences, that there is a difference, and just admitting that one thing, even if accounting for Earth curve, is going to make a tiny difference.
Why would you add a factor that's not there? That's going to make you less accurate.
But why are you saying it's not there? This is Flatzoid said yesterday that the page 4 was saying the claim was that no Earth curve.
It does say no Earth rotation. That's exactly what it says.
Exactly, but what are standard conditions? They are a baseline if everyone just doesn't account for anything. These are things that we
no. The standard is these are the building blocks. We assume all this, and then we work on corrections based on what we missed because of that. Listen. So they look at a target. They take no Earth rotation into account, no wind, no anything. They take a shot. They see, oh, did it hit or was it supposed to hit? Oh, we missed it. 4 clicks to the left. Let's account 4 clicks to the right. Shoot again. Oh, wait, now we see it's gone a click up. Adjusted a click down. Take a shot. Did it hit? Great. We adjusted for it. Nothing to do with Earth rotation. They didn't account for Earth rotation. They accounted for everything else because they first took their shot based on what?
What do you mean there's everything else?
On standard conditions. Thank you very much, Roger Ladle, for your $2. It says go through all the cards. There's a lot of charts and cards in here, man. But thank you very much, you rock. And then another one, sorry, £2 from Sandro. Really appreciate it. Says Coriolis only viable if you assume Earth spin. That's also true. Thank you very much for your super chat. Very, very much. And this is what I was trying to tell Craig. They take wind and you have drift due to the wind, and then the people say, oh, it's because of Earth rotation. I'm claiming straight.
Okay,
just because you see deflection because of wind, and you're claiming it's Earth rotation causing this wind to give the deflection, doesn't make it Earth rotation. It's begging the question.
Well, doesn't it matter what the person who wrote the, if this person is saying drift, doesn't it matter if
if they mean wind or if they mean Earth's rotation, we have to know what they mean by saying drift, right? How do they define drift matters, correct? You're assuming that the person who wrote drift means wind.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying you guys are begging the question, it's Earth rotation. In the meantime, it is wind. Look at this. Look at the groupings that I got on here. The groupings are as follows. Wind direction, okay, with the moles, wind speed, temperature, and pressure. This is the groupings. So they've taken a shot, and they're seeing, at different elevations, everything, and this is how far we are. This is how it reads. There's no Earth rotation taken into account with the groupings.
Okay, so this is an official military handbook, 748 pages, put out by the U.S. military. Let's see how they define drift. Can you go to the glossary, please?
Which page?
Oh, it's at the very end.
Glossary. Okay.
So and literally glossary is at the very end, so you just have to scroll.
All right, at the end. Okay.
Very end.
784.
Let's see how they define drift.
Yeah, let's see how they define drift.
I already know, guys. You're not going to like it.
You punk. So check this out, Mop. I had this really interesting thing happen to me one time, and I was perplexed at first.
I was shooting. It's alphabetical. Keep going.
I was shooting at a target 150 yards away, and I had a wind that was going from my left to my right. That's what I was in. Okay. But when I fired, even dead nuts to see how much I was off, I fired on dead nut. It went in the opposite direction of the wind. You know what I later found out? That the wind that I was in was going from the left to right, but downrange at the target, there was a wind actually going from the right to the left.
So
a lot of times you have to go and look at. I mean, that can really mess you up. And that's why a lot of times snipers, they'll have some kind of indicators of the wind at different distances, and it's really wild. I never even realized that the wind blow different directions and different distances out. That kind of blew me away, man.
And that's exactly the point of this whole document, is that the more accurately we can measure those things, down to even wind between the target and you at different places, we're getting more and more accurate, and that's a good thing. And measuring.
Weird, because everything I'm looking at with the should hit data is based on standard conditions.
Yeah,
you got to go up to the glossary. It's index. You're in the index of the references. Keep going up, please.
Yeah, but I'm saying everything we're reading about.
We got to define. We got to define drift, because you guys keep pushing back at claiming something. So I'll give you the page number. Hold up.
To be carried slowly by a current of air or water.
It doesn't matter. The person.
It's continuous slow movement from one place to another. So in other words, not the place moving, the object moving.
In the context of this paper, in this article, it matters how they define it, not how Merriam-Webster or you define it.
Dude, that's pretty much standard. They don't have different definitions of words because
they don't have different definitions of words. The definitions of words should be just standard for everyone.
No, they're not. It's the context of the source.
Wow.
Just a little side note, I ran into a real bargain today, or I should say my wife did at a yard sale. She found a Black's Law Dictionary, 6th edition, for 50 cents.
Yeah, man. Cool. That's cool.
And that's better because the newest edition, what they've done is they're not changing definitions, they're just omitting them. They're just omitting different terms and words out of there. So if you can get the older Black's Law, it's got more in it than the newer ones do.
All right, well, let's see what the U.S. military, how they define drift. 754 flatside. And the point of a glossary is to say, how should you interpret this word throughout this document? Please read.
Okay. The lateral deviation of the trajectory from a plane of departure is caused by the rotation of Earth. As a result, the horizontal projection of trajectory is curved. Rather than a straight line, the deviation is always the right, with the projectile having the right spin. We know this. We've been saying this the whole time, but I'm telling you, they don't account for it. That's what they've been saying the whole time. There is no account for the spin of the Earth.
This is literally what it says.
That's
also not accurate either.
Yeah, I'm saying based on everything we've been going through, the corrections you do make for drift of wind, not drift of Earth rotation, because the drift for Earth rotation stays at standard conditions.
So you guys know better than the U.S. military of how to define drift.
Oh, don't ever go to the military for your intelligence.
But that's not the point.
Let me just tell you something.
Chris, I'm trying to say now you actually being dishonest, because we've gone through all this stuff. Not once have they said we have to account for Earth rotation. They say it stays at a standard condition, and standard for Earth rotation is non-rotating Earth. The only drift they do account for is wind, which you can look in the graphics. That's why I just showed you all the data they have with the groupings. It's wind.
But they're saying we need to account for Earth rotation.
They say we don't.
Whole point. It is one.
It always moves. No, it moves back to non-rotating. It moves always back to standard conditions, and standard conditions is always no Earth rotation.
It doesn't move back. It literally said standard conditions are impossible. It said they will never exist. The standard conditions
you
are
always
not.
have wind. You
Nothing
always have
goes
wind.
back there. We need to figure out the
Go back to
difference.
page 4, and we'll go through page 4, and we'll look what things there. Okay.
We need to figure out the difference between someone who doesn't account for anything, which is standard conditions.
Look. These are the standard. Okay. Air temperatures always change. They never stay 59 degrees. Correct?
That's why this would be a bad approach.
Air density always changes. Correct?
Yes, that's why assuming these would be bad.
Great. And there's always wind or no wind. It changes depending.
That's right.
Correct?
So exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Listen. Can I finish making a point? Then we have position, the type of gun you use, the target, at the end the same altitude. Those are always changing.
Exactly.
The accurate range changes. Non-rotation of Earth is always not taken into account, even as we read it through. When it says it takes the sum, that means all of these things, okay? All of these things. Even look at the material. No drift. You know why they're taking this into no drift account? Because that would be barrel roll, Magnus effect. You understand?
I
All
understand
these things, but now
these
that
are
some they're
terrible
taking off,
assumptions.
no. Now that some they're taking is all these things together, but they say the one thing you do not change.
Where are you getting that from? That's not what this is saying.
We read it out to you.
No, Flatzoid. This is saying this is a terrible approach. You've went one by one saying that this is not going to be true. Wind changes, temperature changes.
We read it to you.
Okay, so
we read it
quick,
and these are all. This is a list of things that we need to account for.
You don't account for rotation of Earth. That's the whole point.
The point is,
I'm going to give you a little bit of a lesson. I'm going to give you a little bit of a lesson real quick, just so you can stop being so damn serious on this. About military documents, okay? Having been in the military myself. The first thing that they tell you once you go from the training aspect with your little manual and into the field, the very first thing that your superior is going to tell you is throw that away, forget everything you have been taught, and listen to me. That's the first thing they're going to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Butt polishers love to put out wordy documents. That's what their whole military career is designed on. Only for these documents to be shit canned when it comes down to practical real life use. I'm just throwing that out there so y'all know.
That's completely not the point. But I don't disagree. That's fine.
Really. Do you know how much useless shit they taught me in basic training that would have got me killed in the field? That my advanced infantry instructor told me to forget, shit can, and don't pay any attention to it. That's from butt polishers in Washington.
I don't, Sovereign. This is total non sequitur to the point. The point
I'm just putting it out there so you'd stop being so damn serious about these military documents. They don't reflect reality. I can tell you that. I testify to that.
You can disagree with
personal experience.
I don't. Whether we agree or disagree with what it says is irrelevant. But you have to understand what it says, and that is the whole point.
Let's look at the technical firing procedures. Okay, this is what they would do to actually do the firing. Correct? Can we look at that? Following the firing order.
Okay.
They determine the chart data to target location. They check the chart range, chart deflection, and angle are recorded, okay, in the initial fire commands portion of the form. Sight, elevation, QE, and angle are determined in this target location. Fire commands are not determined from the starter. Okay, then it moves to B. The offset aim point for low-level winds. The ATO places a target grid over the target location from step 1. So they've already taken their shot. They've looked at where the initial fires come from. Now they are aiming with wind. He then applies the direction of wind from the meteorological message extracted from line 3. So because remember, they get the data for winds. And offsets the aim point by the distance determined by multiplying the wind speed times the correction factor from table A, blah, blah, blah. Then they move on to C. They determine the AN2 grace burst data to the corrected aim point. The ATO announces the chart range and deflection to the corrected aim point from step 2. So this is the directed change after they took wind into account. These values are recorded in subsequent fire commands portion of the DA. AN grace burst data are determined to this offset point, which include the few setting. Remember, we read the deflection to fire, and the quadrant elevation and angle. Notice there's still no earth rotation now. Move on to 4. Determine the firing data from the ADT. If the data are being determined with the ADD, use paragraph below. The data being determined will, with the ADD, will then use paragraph 2. Let's quickly go look what those data are. Deflection. The height of burst correction must be applied. Contained corrections are changed quadrant elevation to extract values from the table into a charge to the left. Graze burst quadrant elevation to the top. If a quadrant elevation is less than the equal, then the listed column 2, then use the up correction in column 2. If it is greater than listed column 3, then less 800 mils. Apply the up correction from column 3. If greater than 800 mils, apply the up correction from column 4. The extracted correction is used to determine the change in quadrant elevation, blah, blah, blah. All they're telling you is if it's too low, then you use this table, go higher. If it's too high, then use the table, go left. That's it. It's literally based on groupings. It's got nothing whatsoever to do with accounting for Earth rotation underneath. Nothing.
You know, this document is not referring to one single scenario, and in they cover a ton of different scenarios. So one of them might be a short-range sniper, or of course, the Earth rotation would be completely waste of time to take into account. But if you're firing a 10 or 10-ton military shell across 10-mile ocean, it is. So if you actually go through the document,
10 miles, okay.
If you go through the document to the end or watch the rest of my video, you'll see this is not just about aiming better. It's about procedures for different accuracy, but there's different recommendations and procedures for all kinds of. This is 700 and whatever pages. This is not talking about.
It's a long document, but like I said, I've actually glossed through all this. I haven't read every word for word, but I've actually glossed.
They're not. Yeah, so they don't recommend taking into account Earth curve for every single scenario, but they do for some.
It boils down to the same thing. Everything you can go from page 1 to 7 or whatever. What it says is it always reverts back to standard. Then they're correcting from standard to get it. But the one that's not corrected forever is Earth rotation.
That's not true. Continue reading the document.
We've read how much different pages telling you that's what they say. Or I don't know how much more I can put this. So I disagree with you because what I read on here is what we're saying.
But you're on page 10. All right, maybe just finish watching my video, and I'll just butt out, and I'll let you guys.
We'll agree to disagree. How's that sound?
It sounds like we're gonna. The problem, the reason I'm getting like, I don't know, this way is because I truly do believe you guys are just misunderstanding, and the teacher in me, the former teacher in me, is just really trying my best to explain things better because clearly I'm not explaining well enough to
well, how do you reconcile though my scenario that I told you that each minute of degree that you increase toward north is going to exponentially change your calculation, also based on range.
Yeah. So it's all in here. It's all in
This
here.
is the reality of it, Mopped. They may have something in there about it, but the reality of it is nobody is ever going to use that. No one has ever used it. It's never been a part of being accurate. In fact, this is why we have fire and forget weapons, because there's a lot of inaccuracies involved with ballistics.
We have computers calculating millions of calculations.
All the factors by letting a computer. It's kind of like the whole concept of the kaitans that the Japanese had in World War II. Manned torpedoes, suicide torpedoes. They were flying the projectile into it. Okay, and the reason that they developed that, why? Because ballistic has too many variables to compensate for. If you want accuracy, they've gone to the smart weapons.
Yeah.
But no, they're not ever using any of that, and precisely for the very reasoning, because now when they adjust their shot, now they're going to have to totally recalculate all of that Coriolis, because they've gone one MOA. One MOA is going to still, now you've got that whole factor is changed now, because you're changing the direction of the projectile in accordance to the supposed spin of the Earth. So every degree that you go, every little second of angle is going to have to be adjusted with Coriolis.
But they're not saying to do that. They're saying to do every 10 degrees. It says it in this. See, this is exactly my point. You think it would be inefficient and stupid to do it every degree. You don't. You just said you'd have to do it with every little tiny movement.
Even at 10 degrees. Well, that's right, because the tangential speed of the rotation as you go north decreases.
Yeah, exactly.
It decreases exponentially. So now when you're cutting across lateral lines at different angles, which means at this angle, at the shallower angle, it's going to spend more time in a high speed zone than be going into the lesser. Whereas if you're firing at more of an angle, it's going to be less time here, more time here, more time here, more time here, more time here.
Right.
It's
so
you're going to have, because you've got continuous exponential change in tangential speed.
But you know what's odd? As I'm going through this as well, while you guys are talking, I'm reading drift, and the drift is literally talking about the drift, fuse drift, based on the barrel. So I don't see where the Earth rotation drift is coming into here.
I mean, okay, well,
I just don't see where Earth rotation is.
You're on page.
I mean, how much pages do I have to go through to see Earth rotation actually taking into account?
You're on page 18, and you think that just because
like I said, I've actually glossed through, like we're going through now. I've glossed through the all 700. I haven't read word for word, but I'm glossing through to see where I can see it, and I don't read it accounting for Earth rotation.
Okay, why don't you search? Can you search your document with this?
No,
program?
it doesn't give me a search bar. Yeah, I've been trying to. I don't have one.
You just search rotation.
Page,
you'll see how many results you get.
I don't have any search bar here.
I did it for you. You can just finish watching my video if you like. You know.
Okay, sure. Yeah, we'll watch it, but like we're gonna say, we agree to disagree then.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's fine. I just.
Because that doesn't make me dishonest, though, because I just don't agree.
I don't think you're I've been defending you, Flatzoid, and saying that you are not dishonest, and you're just misunderstanding, and I still think that's true. Okay, so I'm not.
And I think you misunderstanding.
I believe that. I believe you think that. I don't. You know, I'm one of the people that think you are honest, and I'm just trying to clear up misconceptions. But it's tough. It's tough.
But yeah, I still appreciate you, man. And like I said, I want nothing ambiguous, bad between us. I do like you, and I think we've been very cordial with each other and stuff.
If I thought you were lying, I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't even bother being here to talk about this.
And also, Chris, in your comment section with your video of the Rachel interview, I said that she lied, and I wasn't saying that to cause any discord. I was saying it because it's the truth. There was a certain part in the video, I can't remember what it was now, but she lied about it. It was something. It was to do with us anyway. to do with us anyway. But she
Right.
said,
Well, I have no way of knowing. You both said separate things, so
yeah.
I'm
But I'm just
not
saying,
really-
I wasn't saying it to cause any discord. I was saying it because it's true. She did lie about something there, definitely.
Yeah, that's.
It was. I think it was about Flatsoid, to be honest.
I have no issue with the comment. That's okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I like you both.
But yeah, guys, do give your channel a shout out though, dude. You guys want to go subscribe to Mop? Definitely well worth it. It does have some awesome stuff.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I'll leave you to it. Again, no bad blood. It's just fun conversation, trying to get on the same page. All good.
Shot, man.
Bless, man.
Catch you later, guys.
Cheers. Thanks. Okay. And I'm going to show again. The azimuth correction for drift is because of the right-hand twist of the tube. The drift of the projectile is the right of the vertical plane of fire. The drift must be compensated for by correction to the left. That's called spin drift because of barrel roll, like we said. But it's exactly what I'm saying. I'm glossing through all this, and I don't see where it says the Earth rotation is taken into account. Whenever you read about the Earth rotation drift, it's talking about going back to standard. It literally said they're taking into account everything except drift. It's like, what?
No,
So,
there's
yeah.
nothing about Coriolis. That's all.
So I don't know where these guys again. They wanted to say something that it doesn't say. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. They're taking the drift. They read drift, and that means they all of a sudden the drift is Coriolis. No, the drift they're talking about is not Coriolis.
Northern Cross, I totally agree with you.
I don't like Mark T. Slicks, Dave McKeegan, and other clowns.
I like Chris. Like I said, I do like Chris. He has been friendly to me and stuff. So I don't. He hasn't given me a reason to not like him. You know what I mean? But
I don't need a whole lot of reasons.
But I'm gonna keep it at this. I disagree with him. Let's say we agree to disagree with each other because you guys would agree what we've been going through tonight doesn't make his point at all.
I don't think so.
Or am I just high or something?
Yeah, I was a bit quiet. I mean, I said a few things, but I was trying to read through. You know what I mean? A few things, and yeah, there's nothing there about it that I can see. Not at all.
But yeah, let's go through his stuff again and check. Okay, let's carry on with his video, then we'll check it out. How's that?
Go for it.
Because he did say he has more, so.
This misunderstanding on your behalf. In this case, it has to do with what is meant by standard conditions. Okay, I'm here in chapter 11, and you'll see the same table you showed us on page 4. Let me read the sentence real quick. The firing tables used to determine firing data for artillery weapons are based on an arbitrary set.
How's it doing, Ellen?
How you doing,
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, guys?
It's good to see you.
Yeah, just carry on what you were doing. I was just thought I'd come in. I was listening to the guy there, so.
Yeah, is that Ali?
What are your thoughts? Yeah. What are your thoughts so far? What's been going on there?
Yeah, I haven't been watching. I was doing something else, and I just what's he saying? What's he talking about?
He's saying the correction tables do take Earth rotation into account. While we're reading on screen, it says it takes everything else besides Earth rotation into account.
He reads it differently. His definitions of words are different, and they're allowed to be different. Apparently, I think the definitions of words should be standard.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Do you know there is no evidence that the Earth is rotating or anything like that? And when you hear them talking about, like what you said, Flatsoid, about the aeroplanes and how you're going to land and all that kind of stuff underneath it's inertia frames, non-inertial reference frames.
Because it's funny, they fight for the drift and then they in the same breath they're fighting why we don't see it.
Yeah, it's like a helicopter. If everybody actually thought about it, right? Is my friend Chris, right? About a inertial navigation system, right, in an airplane, right?
The INS, yeah.
Yeah, I know all about that. I've got a video of a guy that used to strip them down, and he was a ball earther. I've got a whole video for about an hour and a half. We talked, myself and Chris. But anyway, and Chris said a great thing to me about a helicopter. He said, Alan, he said, imagine, right, you've got the gyroscope there, which it's fixed. When you start it up like that, if you hold it like that, it'll stay fixed there, right? And he said, imagine you're in a helicopter and you're moving around the gyroscope. So the gyroscope's like, he says, you know, when you're actually moving around the gyroscope, because the gyroscope's fixed like that. When you take off in an airplane, when they sit there in the inertial the gyroscope that I've
because you set the rigid plane, so you set it stays that way always.
Yeah,
everything
of course it does.
Yeah, you adjusting to keep up with that rigid plane, and
exactly.
the Globers don't seem to understand that. They think, oh, it just changes. You can't change the rigid plane.
No.
If it's rigid, it's rigid.
It's set.
But they say their excuse is, right, do you know when you know about pendulous vanes, right? And there's a gyroscope spinning. Now, when that deviates, right, you've got these veins that hang.
The pendulous
down
veins.
below it.
Corrects it.
They open up holes, right? And when the holes open up, right, because it's spinning, it'll correct itself back to the original position where it wants to stay. It doesn't correct itself to gravity when it's going round the ball. How they say it goes? Oh, it goes like that.
But you see, that's how the Globies try and argue. So, oh, you see, gravity's correcting it to a new horizontal.
No, it isn't.
No. Because with the
you've got
INS,
pendulous vanes. Listen, and people need to get this right. What you've got is you've got a gyroscope spinning round, and then you've got it's encased in it's encased, right? And then you've got a pendulous vanes which are independent of the gyroscope. So what they're saying is not only is the gyroscope going round like that, these things that are free hanging to correct the gyroscope back up to straight is also getting affected by gravity. So these things that are swing like that, if the gyroscope goes like that, the pendulum vanes open like that, the wind, the wind goes in and it corrects it. But they are saying these pendulous vanes and the gyroscope go round together like this, round the ball, and that's fucking impossible. And these guys know it.
They do try their best to try and make claims, which goes against the physics, though, of how things. But you see, that's what I'm saying. They're claiming that it's correcting itself always because gravity is pulling it back. So that horizontal that's gone out goes back. That's why I said that's why I brought the INS up with Bob the first time, because when you're on the runway, the INS has set its reference. Okay.
Yep.
So it takes an angular reading off of that reference while you're flying constantly.
Right.
The data will pick up that you had changed to, you've dipped the nose down, or you've changed elevation to keep up. By the time you get to the equator, that horizontal will now show vertical because it picks up an angle reading. There's no data that shows that.
Of course not.
Nothing.
No, of course not.
Nothing.
None. And it's do you know what it does? It's because they took out logic and reasoning out the education system. That's why we meet people, right? I mean, if you just have to be told, how does a gyroscope work? How do pendulous vanes work? And if an aeroplane flies round a ball, of course you've got, if if anybody would know, if you were flying a plane and you wanted to go downwards, you would have to push it forward. But a pilot doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. He never pushes a plane alive. They fly it just, I think it's 2-3 degrees above level just to get the aerodynamics. Because otherwise, if you flew straight, they would go down. So they have to fly like that, which is 3 degrees above or 2 degrees above
the horizon.
I know this, man. We discussed this about fucking 6-7 years ago, man. About this.
That's what the attitude indicator does. It sets the horizontal horizon. It sets the horizontal line.
So I'm saying they're still the same arguments from 2015.
They just don't want to accept reality. Chris, I'm going to rather look through your video and do a video on it because I'm definitely not going to go on for another 2 hours. But yeah, it was a good stream though.
Yeah,
it was nice.
Yeah, it was decent.
But so far, what I've been seeing, sorry, Chris, I don't see where we are wrong.
No, I can't see. No, Coriolis.
My advice to him is stop listening to borders.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anti-flat earthers as well. Yeah, absolutely.
They end up believing the perception that's been provided for them.
Yeah.
Aye.
That's all.
Really nice in chat, but not anymore.
Yeah, I get you, but I still think he's okay. He's just he needs he's indoctrinated.
There's things I've seen in chat that have made me go, nah.
I know. But I just see him as indoctrinated, you know. Just pure indoctrination, hard to get out sometimes. Cog this. It's a hard thing.
It's like that Coriolis, that conversation with Coriolis. That was all you have to look at is Google, get your audience or whatever, Google Coriolis National Geographic, right? And what I'll do is and I've done this with the ballers, within the first 20 seconds, they'll say it's an optical illusion, and they will repeat that 3 times throughout the video. And this is National Geographic, the mainstream, it's like the Wikipedia that they follow after. So there's no call. And the thing is, right, they go, Coriolis is like this. Excuse me, we're not in a flat disc, we're in a ball. Going like this, right? And that's how they go. They say, well, do you know it works on a flat disc? We're not on a flat disc, man, according to them. We're meant to be on a ball, and at the same, we're deviating down the way, we're left to right, and we're changing an axis all the time. Imagine you were shooting someone, accounting for, right, I'm going to deviate down about 5 foot that way before I shoot. When I shoot it, so I've got it's absurd, man.
I love going on these type of forums. It's like Sniper's Hide and stuff, and you read the comments that people write. Now, these are like usually war veterans and people still in the military and stuff. And they're talking about stories that they usually like shot a lot of fathers and stuff. But read, look at the comments. Okay, I understand spindrift. In fact, I saw it shooting a 6.5 cm out of a mile. While I couldn't exactly see the bullet, I would sort of see its path as it slowed and drift right in the creasing arc as I ran out of steam elevation. Then the impact of the drift. Well, that was pretty wild. But what is Coriolis effect? Okay. I've read a bit, but don't quite get it. Keep it simple. The math loses me quickly. Is it that on the right spinning bullet, energy or resistance tends to increase on the right side and decrease on the left? If so, would that tend to set off a bit on the drift? Now, notice, guys, these are like war veterans and people that they're still in the military and stuff, and they're asking things, what is Coriolis? Okay?
Yeah.
Look at this guy. Spindrift is real and must be accounted for. You can see it quite clearly with the long-range subsonics or 22 LR in the 300-400 range. Coriolis effect is fake and gay. It would be the equivalent of a 0.1 to 0.2 mile per hour wind difference at 1,000 yards.
That's the best definition I've ever had.
It's fake and gay. I love that. But think about this guy.
That's the best definition. ever.
What they don't take into account, right, is if you have a rifle, your friend there with the cap on, he'll know what rifling is. When you bore the hole of a gun, it's bored in a certain way. It's only I think it's cannons on ships that don't have it, but all guns have rifling.
They have the rifling, the barrel roll gives the Magnus effect, and that's why it goes off.
Yeah, exactly. So imagine, so you're going to get, right, my gun was, it's right-hand barreled, I've got the Coriolis, the wind's blowing there, he's 350 meters, and you've got to take a shot in a second. Get to fuck, man. They're full of poo. Sorry for swearing. Sorry, but...
But it's funny, the comments these people go. Look at this guy. I have come to understand it matters most in artillery fire since a projectile is in the air for miles, long enough time for the Earth to move underneath it. The Earth spins from west to east. That is why it's the same normal, same things they say. Shoot north, shoot left, whatever. Some degree. It's dependent upon the distance it might or might not matter. Fun fact, if you throw a tennis ball in the air and catch it, it had no lateral movement in the thrower, but the ball's position in space moved 18 miles. So if you were a Star Trek transporter operator, you would have to figure this out in your calculations to ensure the accurate place and time within the movement of objects in space, which some suggest is the velocity of the Big Bang. These people are laughing at it. This is how ridiculous it is, guys. Remember, these are war veterans and everything. They're making fun of Coriolis effect.
God.
Isn't the Coriolis part of the eyeball? Oh man, but this is like insane.
I had to
love reading these things.
Flatsoid, I liked your wee debate there the other day on germs.
Oh, with FTF, or was it with Bob? I debated Bob and FTF recently.
No, it was the one that you could. It was Bob. You could obviously see.
He says he didn't come to debate me.
Resolution.
I had no interest, man.
I didn't come to debate you, but that's what you're
in the debate.
Yeah. But he was playing his thing, and then fight the flat Earth. Come on, guys, man. They're obviously lying.
Exactly. That's what we had. I mean, Bob even wanted Wolfie to help him out.
Yeah, I seen it. I watched it. I watched the debate, and I was like, "Oh God, fair play to you for continuing."
He could have let Wolfie on because they would have said the same thing. Because Wolfie was probably helping him in the background anyway, giving him pointers. I mean, I had Dave as well on standby in case. So it's insane. But yeah, at the end of the day, the guy was contradicting himself nonstop. And he was being obtuse on purpose.
Yeah. He was playing his audience. But by the way, I got leaked about 7 years ago. I got leaked a Ball Earth script. He actually had a script he used to pass about. So I've still actually got it, right? And it was how to every argument against sunrises, refraction, everything. It was a big long list.
Wow.
And I pass it about, and that's what they do. These guys actually, they're
passing it on to each other.
Yeah, but they do. They've been doing it for years. They have little meetings together, and just think they've got physicists and all that, and they've got all that material. Right, say that, and that. But we haven't. We're just starting.
Yeah, but you see, their golden boy at the moment is McToon. So they all go to McToon's site, and that's why they all have the same arguments, because they go and get the information from the retard McToon. Yes, I'm calling him retarded because he is. And then they go and they get their arguments from him, and then they think they got you. They're winning. In the meantime, the stuff they're parroting is wrong.
They look like they've got
right here. How about this? Right, I'm going to tell you. I'll give you a wee insight to these people. Right, everybody that like McToon. I met McToon. I actually had when he first started out, I had a live stream with him, and it was called Coffee with McToon.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah, I remember.
All right.
Right. Now we were on there. Now listen to him, right? And my friend Chris F.E. Jackson, and there was someone else. I think I was the second or third to get interviewed. But listen to him. He's very polite. Thing was like, now remember, he was only in the beginning of it. Right? You should, guys, go back and look at when he first started off. Oh, I'm just I'm just interested. I'm just investigating. Next minute, he's calling us retards and hang me. It happens to every single ball earther that approaches you and said, "I'm just." The minute someone says, "I'm just curious," I'm just hang me. He's going to fucking rip you to pieces, and that's what McToon. I can't believe what McToon ended up like, because the first time I met him, we were having a great conversation. He was like, "Oh yeah, dead chilled," and now when I see him, he's like a fucking monster. It's like, honestly, it's like totally opposite from the first time he's been. If we want to go into his spiritual stuff, he's been invaded by demons.
Yeah.
These people have demons in them. If for want of a better word, they have demons. And
guaranteed, definitely got demons.
you can see it in them. Watch when they first started. Right, you have to look. You have to look at these people, right? If they've got a YouTube page, go back to their very first streams and see how they acted then until they act now. These people have been possessed,
yes,
or they've been deceived by people that are possessed with demons and stuff like that. It's the only way I can explain it. I'm not
no, you're right enough. You're right enough.
No, there's definitely something spiritual going on with them. There's no doubt.
Yep, absolutely. It's like all flat earthers, right, or all truthers when they come to flat earth. It's a spiritual moment, man, and it is, isn't it? You're like, what? Whoa! I didn't not believe in God, and I didn't believe in God before I came into flat earth, right? But see, when I came into flat earth, it was obvious there's a creator. There's something there. Atheism is not on the fucking table.
But look at the fear the atheists are living with.
Well, that's it, man. That's it, and I think that's why they're battling against it. And I think it's that what's been indoctrinated to them as children, because I believe it's with education, this little virus or whatever, we get reactions. It's not normal, is it? You know, if I said to you, Flat, so I don't believe in God because I listen to that, you wouldn't start wanting to dox me, rape my kids.
Exactly.
Would you? No, you would try to convince me, saying, "Look, Ali, this is the way it is," and blah blah. Dead chilled. You wouldn't start wanting to. You understand? But with the ball earth and stuff like that, the amount of, my goodness, the abuse. They've calmed down a lot now, but in the beginning, man, it was like they were hysterical. They were psychotic, man.
Well, guys, I'm gonna have to end it, yeah. Gotta leave. But it was good to see you guys. Good to see Ali.
No, thanks anyway for having me on. Sorry for
it's great.
Cabin on.
Definitely. Gonna say thank you to everybody in the YouTube lands. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate you. Please hit the likes if you haven't already. Appreciate you all. Thank you for the super chats, for sharing the shows. You guys rock. And then you guys have any closing statements to make before we close off?
Yeah, I just all through that document, there was I don't know how you could see that it was anything to do with Coriolis being taken into consideration. Couldn't say it. It wasn't there. No Coriolis. Oh, baby. I came to the show as a globe believer. I lost my faith. I'd lost my faith in God. You took my ball and gave me God again. There you go. That's it. That's it. Coming for Earth and all that. You know, listening to what's been going on in these shows and that. She finally. Do you know what I mean? I started what we got again, and seeing the truth of flat Earth. You know, brilliant.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll go next. I'll just say, look, what people say to you could be true, it could be lies, but it doesn't matter. Just look into it for yourself. Go with your heart, go with your intuition, and you know, if you feel there's a creator, you know, think about just look around you, man.
No.
Was it created or did it happen by accident? God bless everybody. Blessings upon everybody else, and thanks for having us. That's mine.
Yeah.
Thank
Excellent. Excellent.
I would suggest other that right there. I would look for a field manual, okay, on that too, and you'll see that greatly differs from this, because nobody's going out on the battlefield with the 750-page document in their pocket. I'm telling you what, it's just not happening. So you look into a field manual, and a lot of the guys don't even use that unless they need to, hey, wait a second, how do you do, then they'll look into it. But it's usually a pocket-sized reference of some sort or another. The one that I found to be the most beneficial to me is one called Improvised Munitions and Booby Traps. That's a real good one. If you can get your hands on that field manual, you're shitting in high cotton.
Because I mean, like I said, I grew up, being on military bases most of my life, because we moved a lot through military base to military base with my dad, and nobody has ever spoken about Coriolis ever there. I've never seen it. I mean, even when one of my closest friends, his dad was an Air Force lieutenant and stuff, and we'd go there and play on the the simulators. Also, nothing about Earth rotation and Coriolis and anything in those things.
Well, I have a feeling that this reference he had to some battle taking place in 2000 and being off by 10 miles or some shit like that. I think that is probably another fish story that's been passed along, kind of like Neil's explanation of the field goal being affected by Coriolis.
That was funny.
But think what would happen in World War I and II and stuff if every person had to account for Coriolis. See a sniper rifle, a sniper lying there, quickly taking out his notebook, and quickly work out what latitude I have. No, man, they aimed at the guy. He figured, okay, this is how much yards I am. I maybe have to point it a bit up. I think the wind's coming a bit here. Let me go a bit right. And then he shot. That was it. Because if he missed, he would die. They would give his position away. There wasn't from, let me count my Coriolis. Let me figure out. No, man.
No.
It's idiotic.
It was wind.
What you take into consideration can be done in seconds. It has to be done in seconds.
You do group shots. Finished. That's just like we read in the manual. They do groupings. Yeah. And then they base their corrections based on the groupings. It has nothing to do with Earth rotation at all.
No. Think it's not only just that. Remember, because your target is not going like that straight across. It's going like that. So what you have to do, you have to actually fire lower and ahead if you want to account for Corey. I honestly, the more I think about it, I'm like, I can't believe this. This is stupid. What these people try to tell
us. I mean,
us.
even the boats on the ocean, the ships are moving. You moving.
Right.
You can literally work out now, and then 2 seconds later, you have to rework out your position again because you're in a new position. They're in a new position. You're never going to shoot anything because you're going to be Just wait, someone stop moving so we can just calculate.
Flatsoid is because you don't understand, man. You don't understand. You guys don't understand, man.
And look how they're misrepresenting me. They're saying wind creates Coriolis. This is misrepresentation. I'm saying they misrepresent wind and call it Coriolis. So stop being misrepresenting me, Coupland and everybody else. And yes, I'm talking to you too, Rachie. I'm not saying wind is Coriolis. I'm saying you guys are misrepresenting what wind actually does and calling it Coriolis. That's what I'm saying. I'm not
Exactly.
calling it Coriolis. I'm saying that is what's pushed as globe. You guys take deflection from wind and say it's due to Coriolis.
And whoever out there has this more info on this 1,000-mile 308 round, man, hook me up. I want to know about this.
Bob can shoot 1,000 miles with a 308. He's Superman. Thank you, Roger Little, for your $2 speaker. It says, like I said, secretary. Exactly. Okay, guys, now I really have to go. Thank you guys for coming. Many